Star viewers, welcome. Today we are moving on into the third revision topic of essay answers of Unit 1 of Psychology. Okay. So in the last class we were talking about the different types of development and stages of development, right? Now today we are going to talk about that stage of adolescence and what are the changes and the developments that occurs in an individual, and by understanding which how the teacher will mold herself to teach the students of that age group, how it is helpful for teachers to handle such kind of students at that age. Okay, for that this answer was given for you, and let's go on in a fast note. And this is also not that hard, we can understand it very easily, and it doesn't mean that if I'm completing the topic very fast, it doesn't mean that it is a short answer or a long answer. It depends upon the level of understanding you have and the level of expansion of answer you can do it. Okay. So I am giving just the gist of the answer for you so that you can understand. Instead of lagging the topic, I am just giving you the gist of the answer that you can understand and you can expand it yourself. Okay. So you are going to understand the developmental characteristics of the adolescents in these 5 features. So firstly, physical development. What is the physical development that happens in adolescence? Okay, first before talking to that, we have a definition given by Herlock. Okay, so he says that the adolescent stage starts from that age group where they attain the sexual maturity and ends with the legal maturity. Okay, it starts from the age where they they start sexual maturity, and finally when they attain, it ends when they attain legal maturity. Okay, so that was given by Herlock, and now first we are going to see the physical development. So whenever they start, when they enter into this adolescence, what are the physical developments that occur? Because of the puberty stage, the menstruation stages starts in girls, and there are several hormone changes and developments, and voice changes in boys, and pubic hair growth, and there is a structural changes in girls, and body comes to the final shape, and these are the some physical changes observed in girls and boys in this period in physical development. So which the student this is a part of the student which the teacher has to understand, okay, in order to understand her problem and to guide her in a proper way. So even this physical development, structural changes and all may also affect the mind of the student, and that lacks in concentration on the studies. So how the teacher can tackle all these issues and get her back into the studies, into the track? So we have to understand this development. And sexual development. So here the reproductive organs develop completely, and the menstruation cycle starts in girls and nocturnal emission starts in boys. So this is the sexual development that is observed in this adolescent stage. And intellectual development. In this stage they gain the knowledge on abstract concepts, they start thinking creatively and critically, and they understand many abstract objects. They try to relate it with the reality, and they are interested to know all those concepts, and they start thinking logical, etc. And then coming to social development. So what is social development? This is the time of social conformity, and they will gain some social maturity, like how to move in the society, how to obey the rules and regulations. Society has set some rules separately for men and women, so we have to follow that. According to natural rules, society rules, we need to know all those rules and community guidelines, and also they will get attracted to the opposite sex, and this is a hero worship age. So in this age group, students they need privacy. We always see a few people staying silent. They get very dull at this age, and they are addicted to news, social media, websites and all, and they need privacy from their own parents and family members, and they don't want to sit at home, they want to roam at new places, and friendship becomes a much important point to them. And this is a hero worship age where the heroes the girls attracted to the heroines and heroes, and they select a person as a role model, and whether he is doing a good thing or a bad thing, they just blindly follow it and accept it, and they start assuming themselves as a great heroes and all. So that happens in this social development stage. And emotional development stage, there where they realize and recognize the emotional consciousness, they develop the emotional maturity, and they can understand, they can emotionally develop their feelings, and they cannot control their feelings when they suddenly notice the changes in their body. So they can't get attached to it or adjusted to it, so that time they can't control their emotions. They suddenly go into the depression, or they suddenly raise into the excitement. So because the body comes into the final shape, and don't know how, no matter how it looks, that plays an important role on the person's mind. Like, how am I looking is the main point there in that stage. How they look, how they, like, they have some fears, like maybe people will make fun of us, etc. So isolating themselves in the room, etc. This kind of things they do. So they can't control the high emotions, and that emotions will be at the peak level. They'll start understanding the abstract concepts, and they will relate their feelings to the abstract concepts and their feelings, and they cannot be either treated as a child, or they cannot be either treated as an adult. And the questions they ask at that age group, the parents cannot be answered by the parents also, but they have to answer, and they have to give a clarity, like what is the correct and what is the wrong for that correct age, in order to maintain them in a correct route. So these are the following 6 developmental phases that is developed in adolescence age. So that should be known by teachers in order to mold them into the correct way. If they are already in the correct way, it's well and good, or else if something, these changes are showing a bad impact on them, then they have to understand this developmental stages in them, and how to change their mind, how to motivate them, and how to bring them to the classes back. This is helpful guide for the teachers in order to learn how to get them back to studies and all these activities. Okay, clear with this part? Let's move on to the next answer. So moving on into the 4th answer, how different socio-political realities construct childhoods. Support it with the suitable examples. So we know without foundation, no building will sustain or remain. And in order to be a responsible and perfect human being in the society, the childhood should be constructed in a perfect manner. So today we are going to see how are those social political realities affect in construction of childhood. Social is again the society, family, cultures, etc. First, here it includes family and society as 2 parts, family and society. Now let's talk about family. So when there is a good democratic parent style, so this child construction depends upon the child rearing practices, and bringing up children in a different culture, traditions, etc. also shows a major impact in construction of childhood. When there is a democratic family who never throws their expectations and aspirations on their children, and helps them to live in a freedom way, like letting them know their rights, and also making them conscious about their responsibilities as a human being, then asking them to live their happy life, and teaching them good norms that they should follow in a society, and also to get a livelihood what they have to do. When they teach all these things, it means that their childhood was constructed in a perfect manner. Okay, where they teach the importance of relations and importance of connections between the people, importance of respecting others. Even the brother, elder sister are treated as equal to parents, and the younger sister and younger brother are treated equal to their children. Okay, so how that emotions and relations will be developed in that state, and in the opposite state where the parental system is again different, single parenting system, and or somewhere in the small societies, and if there is a sibling rivalry, like a few of the people like sisters, brothers, from their age, from the small age itself, if they are having rivalries, they keep fighting for each and every small thing, then that is not even a aspect of a quality childhood. Okay, so initially it looks cute, but then it's not good. So in this kind of environment, they cannot construct a proper childhood, and because teaching all these values, they'll become a perfect man or perfect human being. And if they don't have a proper construction of childhood, then they may result in gangs and construction, properties and all, damaging the properties, objects abuse and all, and also disrespecting others, and completely going opposite to the society. Okay, so not only now complete about the family, okay, their aspirations, their roles, etc., everything also shows the impact on the children. And now what about the society? So now if the parents are not at all good and they have failed in maintaining a proper childhood of their children, if the neighbors are quite opposite to that, they know how to live in a quality environment and how to bring up their child in order to make them a responsible adult, and where the parents see the children only also like they are also the human beings. Okay, they might be our children, but they also have their own aspirations, their own goals. We should be around them to fulfill it, and they have to lead their own life, not just living for parents or some others. Okay, in the simultaneously way, you have also to you have to also instill them with good thoughts, good memories, good valuable things, okay, to achieve everything in a moral way. So this all develops the good attitude of the children. If your neighbors are like this, then your attitude will change some or the other day. If your neighbors are also in the same rude culture, then that will double. Okay, so that's how the social realities construct the childhood. Now we are moving into the political realities. So now realities in the sense which is real. Okay, it is not a dream world where everything is seen like how we like. Okay, but there is a difference between dream and reality, right? So this is a social reality, and now we are moving into the political realities. According to political realities, how is the construction of childhood? Even the political things are politically they are realizing few things that are very essential in constructing of the childhood. Like they have brought some acts, some regulations. Without them, we cannot imagine the children's life, how it is going to be there, because they introduced RTE, Right to Education Act, according to Article 21A in 2009. This article says that all the children aged from 6 to 14 years should have free and compulsory education. They should have education at least till 14 years, that is till 10th class. Okay, then also another article like Labor Act 1986 that was amended in 2016 says no one is allowed to work in that age in hazardous chemical industries. Okay, once after they are crossing 14 years of age, they are not supposed, in that age group students 14 to 16, 20 years, they are not at all allowed to work in such industries where there are hazardous chemicals and chemicals released which can harm and affect their health. So this is another act, and according to United National Conventions 1989, they are taking many more acts and also some responsibilities and also some things to take care of this construction of childhood. So all these realities helps us in constructing a proper childhood so that they can live in a quality environment and develop the qualitative feelings and attitudes that helps them to be a perfect human being. Okay, clear with this concept? Is it easy? Let's move on to the last concept of this unit. Now we are moving into the last question of unit 1 of psychology. So maintain the same boost to complete this answer. Explain the problem of adolescence and suggest the measures to overcome them. Okay, we already understood what are the problems they face because of the developments in their body in that adolescence age. We are already aware of that. We have revised it in the previous answer and we already generally also know about that, right? So now we have to suggest them the measures by understanding their problems. Just put your mind into your adolescent age and just give them the suggestions. It's that simple. So firstly, physical challenges. As we already discussed, what are the physical challenges that occurs in adolescence age? It's obvious. Physical changes and physical appearance. People are much worried with their physical appearance and the physical changes in the body. So what are the physical changes? As you already know, adolescence is the transformation from childhood to adulthood. Yes? So this is a stage where the puberty enters and the menstruational cycle starts in the girls and nocturnal emission starts in the boys. So these are the physical changes, and because of that you have many hormonal changes in the body also, which you can't resist and none cannot adjust to that. So they get some thoughts, some different ideas, some different questions arises in their mind, and based on this physical changes, that also affects on the behavior and attitude of that individual also. That is physical appearance. That shows a psychological impact on mind. Like, how am I looking? What is this change? How will people notice me? If people make fun of me, what is the case? Okay, this kind of things. And we'll be going through all these kind of circumstances in our school life also. The people who are born very fat and that is in the hereditary will face the same kind of problem. So there is no need to worry. And the teacher should understand that. They should have, anyhow, they cross that maturity. We have that maturity. So we should not, because we felt that or because we can experience that, we can sense that how the students feel, at least we should not repeat it again. Okay. So we should help them. We should help them understand what are those changes and how can you overcome with it, how can you be with it. So before that, parents are no more parents. They should at least be the friends of their children in making them understand all these concepts. Okay, they should not feel any shy kind of things and all. They should actually explain the science life cycle of the human beings and then make them aware of all these changes, so that they will grow in a positive environment and they will understand everything positively. And if the parents are feeling shy and they are not at all interested in telling them all these kind of issues, thinking about their prestige issue or something, or else just ignoring simply like anyhow they will be learning about this in the school, why to we explain about them and all, and they feel like we are spoiling them. But if you are setting them in a correct environment and explaining them about all these things in a correct manner, then they will not at all be informed badly about it. Okay, so it should be clearly informed to them about their structural changes and physical body changes, and to make aware of them. And even if they are thinking like their physical appearance is different, what they want to do in that, parents should be the main role in supporting them. Like they want to lose the weight or they want to be active, then they should involve them in some games. These are the suggestions which I am giving you now. They ask you suggestions and measures. So we already know the problems what they face because of that physical changes and physical appearance. So parents should motivate them and should explain them everything clearly about all these concepts. Okay, it does not at all mean like they are spoiling the kids or their children, but it's like they are really educating them and making them aware and making the perfect human being who has the common sense about all these things. Okay, then coming to psychological challenges. Here the parents have to help, no one will help. And psychological challenges. So you know about the psychological challenges that occur at that time. So because they are reaching this adolescence age, they have the curiosity to know much about the sex related concepts and all, and also transition from childhood to adulthood and hormonal concepts, etc. So here the students, the children will have more curiosity to know about these related concepts, and they get attracted to opposite sex, and this age is called as stress and storm age, because they see rapid growth in their body and they cannot adjust to that. And also this is a hero worship age, so that even they have to balance that, and they have many priorities in their mind. They need privacy, they need all the individual independence, etc., and they cannot understand. So here the parents want them to be sometimes like a child and sometimes like an adult. Whenever they ask some doubts related to the sex related concepts and all this, like you are a child, behave as a child, don't be like an adult. And when they start behaving like a child, they start going outside or something, like they behave completely like a child, then they say you are growing, so behave like an adult. So there is a role confusion in the children's mind, whether I am a child or an adult, and why are they not making me aware of all these concepts. These all are the questions that arises in their minds and makes them really always remain them in confusion itself. And that is not at all an organic way of making them in qualitative construction of their behavior and mentality development. So in this way, and transition from childhood to adulthood suddenly, that's what I told you, right? So like if they are behaving like child, then they will ask them to suddenly behave like an adult. Okay, or else if they are talking about some aged concepts and all, then again they'll ask, you are being trying to be adult but you'll be as a child, that's better to you. And then again hormonal changes in their body, and that will arouse many more feelings in their minds and all, that they cannot control. They sometimes fail in understanding all those emotions. In this time, the parents and teachers should be the main support to the students in making them understand all these concepts clearly. Like whenever we say, if you go and touch, if you are going near fire, that is a danger, will you go again? No, right? You will stop there itself. And even if you say what are the advantages of fire, like why it is used for cooking, it is used for like emission of fire, like to burn some things in order to get like this some kind of advantages and also disadvantages, then people will be aware in a proper terms. right? So in this way the teacher should help, and even the parents, they should have some classes and counseling classes, sex awareness classes and all these things like adolescence behavior classes etc. in this age group, so that they can understand it properly and to not to go in a negative way. And social challenges, here they have to face many challenges, because social is itself, we say, not only about a family or 2 to 3 people, it involves the community, the society, the school etc. So first it starts with parents. So here the parents, a few of the parents will throw their expectations, like they have to choose their career. Suddenly they start giving them the responsibilities, like you have grown elder and now you have to know about your career, what did you plan. If they are really curious and conscious about their children's career, then they should not force them to do something. They have to leave, they have to give some time, and just if they are concentrating on the studies, that is only the much great thing for them, and we need not force them to do something else which they are not at all thinking of. So we should not put the pressure, but the parents, actually few parents does that. So these are the problems. And when the people want some privacy from others, then that time the people will be interrupting in between and wants something from them, expectation, like our child should talk to us, should fulfill our demands, should do all these things etc etc. Family responsibilities, everything comes on the mind. So what happens, it's like it's completely destroying their mind from doing what they want to do. So how can they concentrate? Even if at all they want to do something, your continuous bombarding of aspirations, dreams, goals, desires etc. makes them completely shut down. Okay, why am I doing all these things when my family is not at all happy with my decisions and all? They go into such kind of things. But if you're positively helping them, leaving them to their own way, just caring like are they taking care of themselves, are they going in a positive way or not, and making them aware everything priorly is really important. And community guidelines, as soon as they reach to the adolescent stage, they set some guidelines like girls should not do this, boys should not do that, they should not interact with the opposite sex, they should not talk. And whenever they go and go outside and interact with some girls, see that a particular person is going and talking to that girls, and that girl is roaming with that boys and all. See, this kind of negative attitude may put some different aspect on their mind, and that itself spoils. The girl is going and meeting the same friends till now, she was playing with them and she is meeting them. Before she was a child, that wasn't a problem for them, but as soon as she reached that adolescence and all, when she go and meets her friends, then they start seeing it differently. So that community guidelines also affect on the mentality of that adolescent's behavior. So that is again a problem. We should not at all see a gender discrimination or difference between, we should make them understand clearly how to move on with the opposite sex, and how to be clear, how to be friendly, and how that is a difference. And in the schools also, there is some school and whenever you go to higher classes, yes, of course they will have some extracurricular activities, but the main priority will be given to studies, because as soon as the school you will go into your career. So they want to concentrate more on studies, because your subjects will get even more complex, because your science, mathematics, social studies will get diverse subjects, and much more understanding is needed. So they will concentrate more on studies than extracurricular activities. So when what happens is, like when schools are not at all caring of these individuals and just giving the knowledge of the subjects, then they feel bored to study these concepts, and because they are getting much more free time, they will go and indulge themselves in some more negative activities. Instead of that, you yourself plan some physical co-curricular and extracurricular activities and keep engaging them in different ideas, so that where their creative skills are being utilized and they can also realize their creative aspects. Yes, so in this kind of things, the schools can take the steps and making some awareness classes to make them know what is the difference and how they have to move, and allowing them to work with others, girls and boys working together, and there is no gender disparities, and teams working together and taking suggestions, etc., even in the games, even in the shows, etc., so that they will be mentally prepared and they will have a quality ideas and adjustment to the society. Okay, social adjustments and community adjustments, parents adjustments, etc. These all play the role on the adolescence age. So that's are the outcomes, how to overcome them. We have already given the suggestions and we already know the problems what the adolescence faces. So here the parents, more than the parents, they should be the friends of their children and have to explain everything clearly before they attain that age itself. Because if they are turning around 12, 13 years, obviously they are going into cross into that period. So at least not you telling priorly, at least when they approach you to ask about this, don't make them hesitate and feel them worst, but ask them, take towards you, make them sit and make them realize about all these things. So that will be best. So they will be having an awareness of all these things, and suggest them ideas, give them ideas in the positive way, and just let them know what happens, that's it, but not make the negative use of it. So that comes to the end of the unit 1 syllabus. Close the books, clap. Now we successfully completed unit 1, so that I always appreciate my viewers who are watching my videos. That is a really great effort you're doing for your subject knowledge. I really appreciate your interest. Now close your books, relax until I post the next video.